All right, let's talk about Albert Camus' masterpiece, The Plague. Now, on the surface, it's a novel about a city totally besieged by disease. But, as we're about to find out, it's really about something so much bigger. It's a guide to facing a world that doesn't make sense. You know, some stories start with a bang. This one, it starts with something a lot weirder. And honestly, a lot more creepy. Dead rats. That's it. In this totally normal town in Algeria, rats just start stumbling into the streets and dying. It's this bizarre, quiet omen of the absolute chaos that's about to be unleashed. So just think about that for a second. What would you do? Your city's gates are locked. There's no way in, no way out. You're cut off from everyone you love. You have no idea what tomorrow holds. And there's this invisible enemy lurking around every corner. That's the nightmare Camus drops his characters and us, the readers, right into. Okay, so Section 1, a city under siege. We're talking about a city, Oran, where the calm is absolutely shattered. This is a normal place, full of people just going about their daily lives. But that's all about to change, completely and forever. And man, it happens fast. First the rats, then comes this awful fever. The death toll starts to climb, and before anyone can really process it, the authorities make this terrifying call. They seal the town. The gates are locked shut. Just like that, everyone is in exile in their own home, trapped with nothing but fear and a crisis that's spiraling out of control. All right, next up, confronting the absurd. This is really about finding meaning in a world that feels completely meaningless. And this right here is where the book goes from being a story about a disease to something way deeper. This is where Camus really digs into his huge philosophical idea, the absurd. So what in the world is the absurd? Well, think of it like this. We as humans are just wired to look for meaning. We need things to make sense, to be fair, to have a purpose, right? But then you look at the universe, and it just stares back. It's totally silent. It doesn't care about our plans or our pain. It's random. That massive, frustrating gap between our desperate search for meaning and the universe's complete indifference, that is the absurd. And this quote just nails it. The plague is the perfect metaphor for the absurd. I mean, it doesn't pick and choose. It doesn't care if you're a good person or a bad one. It just happens. It's this random, brutal force. And it forces everyone in Oran to stare that cold, hard truth right in the face. The universe really, truly does not care about you. Okay, Section 3 is about the power of solidarity. This is the human response to that cold universe. So you might be thinking, wow, this sounds super depressing. If the world is meaningless, why bother? But this is where Camus gives us his answer, and it's a really powerful one. He says the point isn't to find some hidden meaning out there in the cosmos. The point is to create meaning right here with each other. And that leads to this huge central choice that everyone in the book has to make. It's basically a fork in the road. Do you go down the path of self-interest, try to escape, maybe even make a buck off the chaos? Or do you choose the path of shared struggle? Do you decide to stay, to fight, to act with compassion, even when it's hard? At the heart of it all, you've got Dr. Rieux, the healer. He's kind of the moral compass of the whole story. But he's not some superhero, He has no illusions. He knows he can't just wave a wand and make the plague disappear. But what does he do? He just shows up every single day. He treats people, he eases their pain, because that's his job. That's what a decent person does. His heroism isn't just refusing to give up. Then you've got this other fascinating guy, Jean Tarot. He's just a visitor who gets trapped in the city. And he's got this incredible personal quest. He wants to figure out how to be a saint without God. For him, this isn't about heaven or hell. It's about a personal, moral decision to fight against suffering and try to live a good life in a world that's anything but. And you absolutely cannot forget Joseph Grant, the quiet hero. He's this low-level city clerk, the kind of guy who's totally invisible in normal life. But what does he do? He takes on the super boring, thankless job of keeping all the stats for the sanitation crews. He's the perfect example of everyday heroism, just doing your small, crucial part, day in and day out, with zero applause. And that really gets to the core of it, doesn't it? The book is basically telling us that real heroism isn't about that one big flashy moment. It's about the grind. It's about the simple decency of just doing your job, helping where you can, and choosing to care instead of looking away, especially when everything feels completely hopeless. So let's get into our fourth section, an allegory for our times. Because This is the real reason the book has stuck around for so long. The plague? Well, it's not just a plague, is it? It's a stand-in, a symbol for literally any huge crisis that we have to face together.
You can actually see its meaning evolve through time. Back in the 1940s, when Camus was writing, he was thinking about the Nazi occupation of France. That quiet, creeping dread was like its own kind of plague. But the genius of the book is that it's timeless. Today, you can read it and see clear parallels to, I don't know, a global pandemic, or climate change, or deep political division. It's a metaphor for anything that tries to tear us apart and forces us to act together.
So, the big finish. Section 5, why it still resonates. And it's a fair question, right? Why should we care about this old book from 1947? Well, because what it has to say about how we act when things get bad, it's never been more relevant. It's a truly timeless lesson in resilience.
I mean, just look at these lessons. Does any of this sound familiar? The danger of people just denying reality, of misinformation spreading like wildfire, the sheer mental exhaustion from being scared and isolated, the absolute critical need for everyone to pull together, the way a crisis puts a spotlight on what we really care about. And through it all, it's this incredible story about how we as people can endure so much.
And this, right here, is the beautiful, profound punchline of the whole thing. Camus isn't trying to sell you some simple fix. He's saying, okay, maybe the universe is meaningless. So what? We can still create value. We can give our own lives meaning. And how do we do that? Through decency, through compassion, through the choice to stand together against the darkness. That's where the value comes from. So in the end, the book turns the mirror on us. It leaves us with this challenge. Because look, suffering and hardship are going to happen. That's a given. The only thing that's not a given is what we do about it. How are you going to respond? Are you going to choose to look out for number one, or are you going to choose to look out for each other? That's the question the plague leaves hanging in the air. And really, it's one we have to answer every single day.